Run, party, repeat. Welcome to the East Coast Adventures Dirt and Vert Podcast, where we talk all things running, racing, and training to help you get ready for your next big adventure.
Learn from our successes and our failures, and have fun at the same time. Join us right here every week with inspiring guests who share their captivating tales from the trails. And remember, nobody cares.
Run faster. All right, welcome back to the Dirt and Vert Podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Matt.
And we have Dirty Wolf Racing with us, Richard Abernathy. If you haven't heard of the race, one of the most popular ones that I know that he started years ago is Beast of the East. Personally looked at that race myself, but as we get to know Richard and we look through his ultra sign up, he is a very avid ultra runner too. And as we were talking earlier, he was talking about he used to run an ultra a month, which is pretty cool, and he's getting ready to get back into that.
Yep.
But if you've ever scrolled through his ultra sign up, you'll notice that he's already done over 100 on here. So quite an impressive list, Richard. But we want to learn a little bit more about you. So if you don't care, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got into running.
It started about 15 years ago. I was working at a video store, not Blockbuster, movie gallery to be specific. I couldn't deal with the blue. I was its golden child. I was pretty smart as a 26-year-old. And I found out the company was shutting down about 6 months before it was meant to completely close down. I had one of the last 4 stores left in the company. Still making a bunch of money, even in the buffering age. And I was married at the time. And me and this wife, we went to a little track outside. And she's like, let's just see who can run further as a competition. So we went to this little track. And it was what we thought was a quarter-mile track. And we started running loops. She made it half a mile. I made it only 3/4 of a mile, so I won. But when we got done, we found out that we were really out of shape for being in our late 20s. And I was like, wow. And then she suggested, let's just start running every day because this cannot happen to us. So we started running every day. It was a little while. I think it was year and a half, if I remember correctly. God, it's been a while. We did our first 5K, and it was on the road, of course, and then we kept escalating from there. And then we found out that we weren't normal because at one point we ran 3 marathons in a month that were all on the road. We're like, man, we're not tired. We're feeling pretty good. And she got us signed up for a trail race that was an ultra over in Winston-Salem called, I think it was called Frozen 50K or something like that. I'm sure it still exists today, but I only consider Uwharrie 40 miler my first official ultra. So that's kind of like how it kind of segued and fell into trail running.
A marathon, 3 marathons in a month?
Yeah, you jumped right into that one.
It's pretty head first.
And how did you come up with Uwharrie? Is it Uwharrie? Is that how you say it?
Uwharrie 40 miler. It's in February.
Okay. So that one's in North Carolina. How did you go from marathons jumping straight into a 40 miler? Was that just something you were looking for? Or did you hear somebody talking about it?
We didn't really fit in with the road crowd very quickly. Both of us grew up as like goth kids, and I played D&D when I was a kid, and she was a goth lady. Like, we connected through books and coffee, just normal teenage stuff to young adulthood. I went to college, and I went to school with her sister, and now we just started running after a while. And we were already married for like maybe 7 or 8 years before we really started running. So that was already established beforehand.
Well, let's not skip over that first 50K you did. It's 5 hours and 17 minutes on your first 50K. That's
pretty good.
Pretty good. Like
Mhm.
that's a pretty solid first 50K.
You knew that stat better than I did. It's not my PR stat.
No, that's a good time though.
Yeah. I used to be fast.
So did you get hooked after you did the 50K and the 40 miler on trail running?
I think I got hooked after the 40 miler. And it was like I was working as a team with the ex-wife, and it felt like a team aspect. And, you know, she was a little bit slower than I was, but she was tough as nails. Just great at subsiding her pain to focus on her running. And it just, you know, I followed along, and I got really fast, and I figured out how to deal with my own pain.
Did you have a lot of learnings in your first 40 miler?
So my first 40 miler, so this is no kidding. The morning of that race, before we even got to the park, I had a pug named Riku, and she passed away that morning from an infected scar on her neck. And I held on to that emotion, and losing that dog for the entire 40 miles. And I didn't use the bathroom for at least 38 miles. The dude I was running with, Paul, nice dude. He was having to go to the bathroom quite a bit, and I think it was his first 40 miler. He was like, dude, why don't you use the bathroom? I was like, I don't know. And I was trying not to cry and freak out about my dog. It was just like, okay, here we are. It's life. Very early on, I was already facing adversity when I started doing ultra running.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long run to be upset like that.
Yeah, well, I didn't really show that emotion. I just kind of held it in, and I was okay with it. Like, I was like, you know, accepting life for what it is, and just understanding that dog's in just a better spot.
Yeah.
And I got the gift of another dog named Spice, who was a pit bull, and she was like the apple of my eye much later on. So, good things.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you went on a rampage after you ran a few of these races. June, July, September, October, December. So you were rolling through them.
Camp Croft.
Yeah, Camp Croft Challenge. Now we've got a friend that I think did 100 miler.
Is that the same race?
Is that the same
now as it was then?
Different?
No, it was not. Camp Croft Marathon was directed by, I can't think of his name. I was on the same relay team as him, with the Blue Ridge Relay, the one that we almost got kicked out of, and that's a whole story in itself. But we got into a lot of trouble during the Blue Ridge Relay. But he was a really cool race director. He would run a 50K, put out a pack of smoke right after the race. He was just a rebel.
Oh, wow.
And they got taken over by another race director who did one epic run, and she was really cool. And she was also on that same relay team.
This must have been a wild relay team.
Yeah.
So, what's funny about our relay team is that we're all ultra runners, and we got bored during the race. And our team name was named something that was pretty bad, and people took offense to it, to a point where a race director actually told us to remove all of our stuff off the vehicles.
Oh.
And they threatened to call the police or whatever, and we're like, it's just for fun. We've seen plenty of other vehicles with more offensive things than what our freaking team was. But my van had, of course, my ex-wife, a Marine, his best friend, another ultra runner, and the same dude that was doing the Camp Croft Marathon as a race director. They were hooting and hollering at girls, trying to get their numbers all the way through our period of van time. And they were just hilarious. At one point, one of the guys, we painted a panda bear face on the back of his back, and he got tanned, so he had like the panda bear shape or face on his back.
That's awesome.
And then when we got threatened, we got really mad, and we ended up beating the crap out of the Mizuno team because we just got mad and we started running faster.
Wow.
So we had a bunch of misfits.
So you all got to finish?
Yeah, we got to finish.
Okay.
We
just had to remove everything about your team.
Yeah, just pretty much. It was just a white van at that point.
Well, that's even creepier, right?
Yeah, the announcement says Blue Ridge Relay Team number 157 or something like that. They couldn't even say our team name out loud.
Wow. So they didn't say nothing about it before? Like, once you signed up?
They didn't think anything about it. It was another team that complained on us. Yeah. And I admit the team name may not have been appropriate. It does not reflect anything on how I feel, but it wasn't an appropriate name for the situation, I guess.
Well, let's I'm curious here. So you've done some 50Ks, 55K, you did a 40 miler, you did the marathon. Then, we're getting up here to where you're getting into some longer distances. The one epic run, looks like you did it the first time, but you only had 18. Is that 18 miles?
Yeah. I got annoyed. I get a short attention span on smaller loops. One Epic Run is a really awesome race. It's no longer being considered One Epic Run. It's called it's some type of warrior race now. Like, it's still at Croft State Park, but I can't think of the name of it. It's always the week before Beast.
Okay.
I can't think of the name of it. It's put on by Without Limits.
I know that.
Prisoners of War. That was it.
Prisoners of War. I've not heard of that.
Yeah, that's the name of the race. It used to be considered One Epic Run.
Well, it looks like you've done that one a few times.
I did it because I liked the people there. Like, it was a good time just to hang out with people at the end of the year.
Yeah, you always get to meet cool people at these races. That's one benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Hellhole 100K.
Oh boy.
Hellhole. So now we're stepping up the distance. Is this the furthest you ran at this point?
It is. It's also the flattest I've run. Hellhole 100 has 12 feet of elevation gain.
Oh wow.
For the whole 100?
It is 12 feet of elevation gain over the 100 miler. So
wow.
It's a total 16-mile loop, and they haven't changed too much of it now, but it beats the crap out of you. You're just using the same muscles over and over again.
Yep. So that's why that finisher rate's pretty low.
Yeah. My where I excel at is elevation and vert. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. Like, man, I just can't get enough of it. Like, I'll eat that way better than I would a flat race.
Yeah.
Man,
there's like 5 finishers that year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Hellhole is a very underrated 100-miler that is really hard to finish.
So is it trail?
It is trail. It's in the Francis Marion State Park, and it's all swampland. It's just weird things happen. Like, I had everything going right at 30 miles during that race when out of my 4 failed attempts of the 100-miler, and my skin turned green. I dehydrated. I was drinking enough. I stopped at the aid station after I stopped before the aid station and checked my, fluids, urination. And I was bloody. And I stopped at the aid station. I was like, guys, I'm done. The race director pulled up, yelled at me. I got in the truck. He said, "You okay?" I was like, "I'm good." "Why'd you yell at me?" So And I trained pretty hard for it for that year. But like weird things happen at UR. But if you can finish that race, man, you are a beast.
Yeah, I didn't even know Hellhole 100 was that flat. I had no idea. That's insane that it's only got 12 feet elevation gain over 100 miles. That's insane.
Yeah, what's crazy? What's that race out west? I can't think of it. It's all in the desert. It's like shoes melt on pavement. I can't think of it. It's in Devil's Hills or whatever. Can't think of the name of it. I don't know. But anyway, people have come from out west trying to play in Hellhole and they've failed at that race. It's just, and it's a really well organized race too, which is so incredible. And now Kayla, she does such a great job with the race, and she's just like, well, people still don't finish.
Well, that's races like that don't have very high finisher rates because people usually start out too fast and can't control their, hydration and their fuel, and they just get. I mean, it's easy to run too fast when it's that flat.
Is it still in June?
It is still in June.
So June in South Carolina.
First week of June regularly. And
that sounds rough.
Well, it looks like you didn't DNF it. You got it done 19 hours. You got
that was 100K. That wasn't the 100 miles. Let's scroll all the way down to the bottom of my sheet and look at all the 100 milers that I failed at Hellhole. Hellhole is my Hellhole is my Achilles heel for sure. I don't know if I want to go back there.
You're going back next year, right?
Actually, I signed up for a race I really love called Swamp Fox. It's one of Kayla's races.
Yep.
And she moved it up to March. And March is a difficult month for me because I have dedicated aid stations for Dirty Wolf and things like that. Because I like to, support other races. And it just so happens the date she moved it on is the same date as the Trail Fox Ultra that she puts on. And I had signed up for the 100. I was going to exercise some demons because that other race is straight out and back of 50 miles and you just come back. But I had to dip out of that. And she said, well, I'm just going to sign you up for Hellhole. I was like, damn it.
There you go.
Yeah, but June is also a difficult month because now I have 2 races. So,
like June and July, now they're gaining popularity. Usually it was, spring and fall, and now the summertime. That's where we put our races on, is the summertime. But they're starting to actually pick up, which is good because, we're looking for races to do in the summer, and there's not many.
No,
there's not. I discovered that I moved a race into August, and it struck popularity, but and it wasn't even a big trail. It's a city trail, and people signed up for that. I mean, the name is kind of catchy too, but I mean, there's nothing non-basic about the race. It's just a nice little city trail.
Did for Hellhole 100K, when did you realize this is way harder than I thought? Because you probably hadn't ran anything that flat for that long either, correct?
Yeah, I finished that race with my ex-wife, and I think it was the moment when I was on this fire road flat kind of area when the heat was kind of rolling in, and it's still dark, so it's still hot. And I was bent over, coughing my lungs out, and all was coming out was heat over and over again. And I was like, and I was saying, this is really hard, or some type of thing. She'll probably correct me on it, but that's when I realized it was hard. It was probably about 16 hours in. Yeah. And I knew what I was getting myself into. I read up on it. Yeah. After I read my 100 at Blind Pig, that was also in Croft, I tried Hellhole because I thought I was invincible. You know that whole feeling.
Yeah.
And I met my match. Like, that thing just killed me.
Yeah, I'm like you. I like the climb and descend.
It just breaks it up so much where you can use different muscles. When you run something flat and fast, it's a whole different kind of pain.
Something you really got to work on for a long amount of time.
It's just concentration. Like at Hellhole, you feel like you hear something in the distance, and nothing is there. You got like freaking like horseflies that follow you for miles and miles, and those aren't normal horseflies. They're like this big, not like this big. And I'm not exaggerating. Stuff just grows bigger in the swamp, and I'm not hallucinating either.
Not at all.
No,
Not at all.
never do that. Horseflies.
Well, we have heard good things about her races. So someone actually reached out and asked us to get her on the podcast.
Last week.
So we're going to try to get her scheduled too.
We had one of our team members. He went up to try to run Swamp Fox. I think he DNF'd it. But
I love Swamp Fox. So I'm not a repeater of races. Like you can look at my history. Like you'll see something like a couple times, like Millstone 50K. I've done it like 4 times, and then I got bored. But like for Swamp Fox, I really like the timing of when you come in, you can see the sunrise with the water where it's at, and then it's just really cool. And I just stop and just take a picture there and just kind of take a moment. And then I run off. And then, you got the turnaround point, you come back. And it's just such an easy, fun kind of race. And actually, I picked on Kayla. So Swamp Fox was originally designed to be you bring your own stuff for the race. So you just gather your stuff. You have all your aid stations set up. They don't put anything at the aid stations for you. And I kind of like that concept. And if we talk about the Foothills 50K, which is not on my list, but it has like 9,000 feet of gain, I like that concept of the race the first year. But anyway, Kayla changed and made the aid stations full functional. Mm-hmm. And I gave her a hard time about that. I was like, man, that's not really the Swamp Fox race. I like the original idea. Like, let me have to suffer a little bit more. And
some of those unique challenges is, it sets those races apart.
Yeah, and I really like the Swamp Fox. I like the idea of it. Like, I got like 4 coins that Chad Haffa gave me from Eagle Endurance. And I really enjoyed that feel of that race. But this past year when I ran it, and I ran it very quickly, I do believe. I can't remember what my time was, but I think it was under 6 hours. But I got done. I told Kayla, man, that wasn't as hard as the previous years.
Because you actually had aid.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I brought up the Foothills 50K, and it's 10-mile loops. There's no water resource out there, and you're just going up 3,000 feet of gain around the Table Rock, South Carolina. This is also a without limits race. And this was the first year. He picked the harder direction to go without an aid station. And I was like, man, you got to pack all your stuff. It's awesome. And I came in, every single 10-mile loop. I was like, man, this is great. I had a blast. And then I ran it the following year, and he made it softer.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, dude.
Trying to fix that DNF rate.
Well, I think they should put a little sign right there that said, no aid. No aid for Richard. You got to go.
Maybe. But like, I know this is I don't know if it's still a thing or not, but people talk about the West Coast races being harder than the East Coast races and vice versa. But like at the East Coast, we kind of make it a little bit softer on the runners. So how can we stand on any type of pedestal of, oh, we're stronger than the West Coast? I think it's about even, but I feel like you need the hard races.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's definitely some unique races that set themselves apart, and that's what's kind of cool about just the whole region. And there's a lot of those in the East. I mean, Lazarus Lake, that man can come up with some of the craziest, hardest races you've ever thought of. So it's definitely, almost race director specific sometimes, like of how hard a race can be.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that some actually have challenges, and that was one of the reasons we did the Cherokee in July.
Yeah.
And we have a very strict cutoff for the 130K. Like, we want people to realize it's a hard race. Now, the 70K, long cutoff, you can take your time, but that 130K, if you want it, you got to work for it.
You got to work.
So it's
what's the time limit without me looking at it?
It's 26 hours. It's almost 85 miles with almost 20,000 feet elevation gain.
Fun. Okay.
In the middle of July in Tennessee.
I mean, I'll be half naked. I'm really thinking of.
There is plenty of water. I mean, you go through. You run by the Hiwassee. You run by the Tellico River. You got multiple creek crossings. I mean,
we finally got a really good gauge because we've ran some of the course like in sections. We've never got to run the whole race, obviously, because we're the race directors. But someone finally gave some really good feedback this past year, and it was Shannon Wheeler DeBuff from Chattanooga. She's a pretty talented runner.
Yeah.
And she finished, and she said, harder than Georgia's Death Race, but not quite as hard as Cruel Jewel. She said, I'd put it right in the middle. And I was like, well, thank you. I was like, we've been trying to figure out like where we're at on the spectrum here. She's like, yeah, you're not quite as hard as Cruel Jewel, but she's like, it was a hard race. And so it was good to hear that feedback, to know. And, and we'll get to your races here shortly, but you have a very hard race that you have 100-miler that is extremely difficult. Like I've heard people talk about it. I've not got to run it yet, but I want to.
Leatherwood.
But yeah, and you also have some very unique races that I think sets you apart as a race director, which I think is really cool. It's fun to see people not always do the norm, the normal race or the normal thing. And you're one of those race directors. So it's kind of cool. And we'll get to learn all about that here in a minute. But before we move on too far, I just want to ask you, like you've done a lot of races. And I even see you've done the Cumberland Plateau Stage Race. That's our friend John Harden. He's another great race director we've had on here. But, we grow up here. I see you've done
the Pistol,
Llama Crawl. You've done the Pistol. So, you've done quite a few races around us. And, the Pistol and Llama Crawl, those are both Brian Gage's races. The Pistol used to be a different race director, but Brian has taken it over. But it looks like you travel just kind of everywhere. And, just like you said, you don't do the same race over and over, but you have quite the extensive list of races. And I asked this because we obviously don't have time to go through all 112 races. But what has been your hardest race on here and why?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think yours shows 112.
112, yeah. And
that doesn't include your DNFs. And you've got those on here too. And I don't know if one of those would be your hardest. You've got a cool list of just all kinds of different races. I love it.
Let's see. Let me go through a memory jog of my races.
You take your time.
I am definitely thinking about it. Leatherwood.
Leatherwood? Now, what is that?
Leatherwood is on private horse land. And it is right outside of Blowing Rock. And it is some of the most hardest trails. But the combination of ongoing rain for every year I ran that race as a 50-miler and a 50K, when the ground is wet, the horse divots, like you got knee-deep mud that you got to slog through. And I remember how I felt during that race. Like, the running gods just took a giant freaking punch to my stomach, my face, my back, my legs, everything. And I finished 2 out of 3 of them. But I just remember how accomplished I felt after that race. But that is definitely the hardest one.
Oh, and it doesn't happen no more, does it?
Well, I brought it back.
Did you?
Yep.
Okay. Do you still call it Leatherwood?
Yep. It's called Leatherwood Marathons now. And I added a 100-miler this past year.
Shoot.
And do you know who Brendan Thrower is?
I do not.
I don't know.
Tarawa. He's a Hellbender.
Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah. Okay. Or I know at least who that.
He originally designed the original course to Leather. So it kind of gives you an idea of where that setting is, because Brendan don't got easy races.
Yeah. No, I've heard that.
Brendan knows his stuff too. But yeah. When I redesigned the Leatherwood course, because some of the trails aren't there anymore, I believe, based on my calculation, once I get the full completed loop for the 100-miler, it's going to be closer to a 28,000 feet of gain race.
Oh, wow.
For the 100. I didn't have any finishers this past year, and they had a 36-hour cutoff.
That's a challenge. That's a challenge right there.
You're either going up or you're going down. The year that I ran Leatherwood, we were taking like after photos of our group and everything. And one of the friends that I had, I've never seen people fall forward against the mountain. Usually you're falling down the mountain, right? Well, at Leatherwood, this dude face planted in horse manure.
No.
And he was running up the mountain. And he had like the horse manure on his face. And in the picture, I'm leaned away from him. And we didn't have the heart to tell him that he had manure on his face.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, Leatherwood's my hardest.
So that's in Ferguson, North Carolina?
Yes, Ferguson. You can run the trails all you want to over there. They just, you just stop in at the tour thing. Like, you don't think that you can, but it's all like privately owned. There's no real water resources out there. They do take care of their trails. They did have a lot of mudslides with Helene and everything. They had to shut down one of the trails, but overall the trails are very well intact. And you just look all around, you're like, wow, I'm in the valley. And I got to climb that like almost immediately.
Yeah, we're gonna have to check that one out one day, Matt.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying to find this.
Yeah,
Leatherwood.
All right, now being a race director who puts on some unique races, what's the most unique race you've ran?
I ran. Let me look back through my list.
No, you're fine. You take your time. Take your time.
My most unique race. So there's a race called Whispering Pines 12-hour down in Florida. Her name, the race director's name is Terry Hayes. She was a 70 or 80-year-old lady. She put on 3 races. Really cool lady, very good mentor, very good person to look up to. It was so unique that she used ribbon, but she also used paper plates and just drew the directions of the direction you're going.
I love it.
And it was just so wholesome and kind and sweet. She is a little firecracker, but man, she puts on such a great race, and it's just unique. And the whole feeling behind it was unique because it kind of goes back to the essence of trail running before, thing got popular, and now we got sponsors and everything else going on and craziness with elites doing really extremely great times and stuff like that. So,
yeah, that's cool. You don't see those, you still see some, like there's plenty of like smaller home style races, but you don't see them to that level anymore, like where there's very few markings, and what is marked is just like a hand-drawn yard sign or a poster or, paper plates. Definitely unique.
Yeah, I still remember a time when I was doing one of my races, and I showed up in a costume. The first day it was really cold, and I was wearing a Wookiee costume. Yeah, and the race or one of the runners thought that I was out of my mind. Like, this dude is weird. He's in a Wookiee costume telling us what to do. And they thought it was odd. And then the next day it was really hot. And they were doing like a double 50K. The next day I was wearing a skirt because I was dared to. And already in a race, and the guy just called his wife and said, "This dude is a lunatic, and I don't know if we're going to be okay." And he enjoyed the race, but he told me the story afterwards that he had to tell his wife that he was a little nervous.
That's awesome. Well, so you start running ultras back in like, what, if I remember right, it's like 2012 maybe?
Yep, 2012.
12. When did you start race directing?
Man, it was probably 2015, I think.
Okay.
So
when was Dirty Wolf Ultras born?
2015.
Okay, so when you started race directing, you started then. Okay.
What
inspired you to start race directing?
So I didn't know it was Dirty Wolf that I was finding when I started race directing. And the story behind that is that I used to run with a friend of mine. He used to be the facility manager for the Carolina Panthers. And I met him out at this outside recreational facility. And he asked us if we wanted to come to the stadium and run stairs. I was like, okay. And my ex-wife was like, yeah, sure. And we were thinking stairs outside in Charlotte. What we didn't know is that what he meant was go into the stadium and run the upper bowl of the stadium with a 30% incline going up, over, around 13 times. And then on Thursdays, we would do the lower bowls. So it was twice a week of that. He was also a venture runner who was a race director. And he wanted to transcend adventure running with ultra running and kind of get ultra runners to come do adventure races. And he's like, how about you put on a race right next to my race? Just do it around the Baden Lake, and we'll do our other race, and hopefully ultra runners will want to come do it, because he was trying to increase his numbers. And I said, sure, because, you do that for friends. I had 10 people sign up for that race. I was the biggest failure on the planet in my brain.
Yeah.
I was so mad and discouraged. So I rethought a lot of things, told my ex-wife, told my friend, okay, I'm going to do this again because I ain't letting this beat me, at the very least. So the second year, I advertised a little bit better, and I had 80 people show up. And that was very exciting, but it was only myself and my ex-wife when she got done running, helping out at a poker table. That was the start of Dirty Wolf. So,
and what was that very first race?
It was called Bad Rock 720.
And do you still do that?
No, because it's considered Copperhead Island.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yep. Did you ever see any Copperheads?
Over there, people reported it. And it was a night race. It's a really beautiful area, but I don't know. It doesn't get me like Crowder's does. I like Crowder's. I like the mountains. So
I do too.
So that was your very first race. So you only had 18 runners show up, kind of regroup, start over, figure out how to do a little better marketing. You get 80 runners there. When did you start moving forward then with, okay, I've got this race, I'm going to do this race, I'm going to do this race? Like, what, did you have a strategy, or did you just start like throwing darts and shooting a hope and a prayer out there?
Well, I started doing a race called Wicked Route, and it is still around. It is now in June. And I've done it in so many different ways, in so many different directions. It just, it's a 10-year-old race, and it's still like in a county park. It's kind of home territory. It's rolling mountain bike trail. This coming year, we're going to do a 10 by 5K. So every hour on the hour, you do a 5K. So ought to be a lot of fun. But that was my next race. And then I was organizing a group run over at Crowder's Mountain, and before anybody got to do ultra running at Crowder's Mountain, way back in the day, David Horton and some of the other old second generation ultra runners used to be over there doing races, and they stopped doing it. I don't know the reason why. So anyway, I was setting up this group page on Facebook. You know, you can tag the park and everything. And somebody from the state park said, "Hey, did you buy a permit for that group run?" I'm like, "What am I going to do that for? We're just out there doing a group run." And they're like, "Well, we just feel like, you said I bought a permit." And I was like, "Well, while I'm talking to you, I'm interested in doing a race over there." And they're like, "Why?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Because I live here. I'm local. I love this place." And the first year, it was called Monadnock 50K, and I had to kind of prove myself for the race. A directing thing over there because they didn't trust very well. So the first year, 2018, December. We did the first year. We just did a short route, and right after the race, I told them, I feel like we could do 100 out here, and they didn't believe that was possible. Then I told them, I believe we can get Carl to come over here and run this race. I believe we could get someone like David Goggins to come over here and do this race. And they were really excited to hear about celebrities coming to do the race in their mindset. And those park rangers are hilarious. I was also approved to do the 100 after a really crazy situation happened the first year of the race. I had a runner go to South Carolina and he went the wrong direction. And then when he was running back, he could not find a bathroom. And he was about half a mile away from the turnout. And he decided to take a crap off of the trail from where the trail was. And he was really excited because it was his first crap on the trail ever. And he took a picture of it.
No.
And he doesn't remember this part, but when he turned around, there was two park rangers around that seen him do this. And he ran off down the trail. Later called me and said, "I quit." He was the first official DNF for Beast of the East. A dude that crapped on the trails.
Wow.
Yep, but I got approved, and after that, here we are. Carl showed up. We had Chad Wright a couple years ago. Pretty cool dude.
Yeah. Yep. We're with him multiple times.
So Beast of the East was probably at this point, was that your biggest race?
It was. It was. We call it the claim the fame, I guess.
Fame.
It was a series of a lot of lucky situations happening for me.
Oh, wait. 18.
So you've had the race for multiple years now. Have you changed the distances on it any, or the course, or have you kind of kept it the same?
I've kind of like switched things up a little bit. I really want to turn into a qualifier for either Hard Rock or Western States, but the stats are not in my favor.
Yeah, I feel you.
So this year, the 100 miler is 17,000 feet of gain for the 100 mile. It starts out at Crowder's Camps, and it's a really nice facility with showers, a place to sleep right at the campsite of Crowder's Camps. So you're like 5 minutes away from the start line. They got 210 beds. They have a cafeteria with a chef there. They got another aid station, race day. They got a coffee bar for 24/7 now. That's the new changes this year.
Wow.
Possible live stream this year. A lot of cool things. I try to add something really cool to the race every year. But pretty much it goes out from there, hits the Tower Trail, and you run all the way down to Boulders, and you come all the way back. hits about 26 miles every out and back.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I've tried to simplify it enough to where you don't get lost, which there's not too many other trails shooting off in other directions at Crowders.
All right. So we've got
December 14th.
We've got Beast of the East. What was next?
Stone Mountain Massacre. My what I believe could be a really big thing. It used to be called Roaring Gap 50K, and it wasn't a flashy name. It didn't have a lot of cool originality behind it. It's just like run an 8-mile loop, see pretty stuff. Every step you take is beautiful, pristine trail. Everything I would want out of a race. But I decided to dip into my youth and think of Stone Mountain Massacre like a quest. Every loop, or you have a point-to-point loop of the 50K. I had to reset there for a second. And you have 5 aid stations on the course. We give you a protection stone that you need to carry with you at the beginning of the race that is identical to just you, because we're going to put your name and your initials on it.
Oh, that's cool.
And you're going to carry that stone with you. But along the way, you got to collect stones at all the other 5 aid stations along the giant looped 30-mile course. The thing about this race is that you have elevation and a lot of vert because it's at Stone Mountain, but it also goes onto the MST. You don't know the route of the race until the week out from the race. With aid stations, you collect stones, and each stone is a different stone at each aid station. 2 of the aid stations are manned, but only 1 actually has people serving you food. The other manned aid station is actually people playing D&D and not actually helping you. And all dressed up in costume. If by some chance you show back up at the start-finish line after running 30 miles of some really pretty trail, and you only have 4 out of the 5 stones, you're DNF'd. So
You gotta have all 5 stones when you finish.
Yep, and then you'll have your 6th stone, which is your protection stone, and we also have a finisher medal for you too.
That's cool.
Yeah,
so you don't.
But good.
So how did you come up with that? Like, how did you? That's kind of a unique and cool concept.
So it's funny. You can research back to Monty Python and the Holy Grail, or freaking I don't know if y'all know who Julian Sands is. He was a European actor who played in a movie called Warlock 2, where he was collecting stones. It's just a mix of different things from Dungeons and Dragons and playing when I was a kid and come out of my shell of being a little bit more extroverted than I used to be. It's kind of like where I kind of got that concept from.
So are they like at the aid stations, are people going to like remind you to get these stones, or is this something that you have to like actually remember to get these stones?
Probably at the man aid station you'll remember your stone, but you'll have the water cooler with the basket of stones right next to it, and that's where you grab your stone from. Now, if you forget the stone and you just remember your water in your runner brain,
I know how it is. Sometimes in aid stations, you just shoot by them, or you just get what you get and you just go.
well, you got to stop at these.
You gotta stop.
Yeah. And the second part is that in some cases, you're going to be more focused on your water than your stone. So part of the challenge is keeping your brain about you during the races. So,
All right. What's next?
then we have Llama Experience at Earthshine Lodge. It is currently a 1.5 mile loop with 400 feet of gain around Pisgah, but it's private land at Earthshine Lodge. Every loop, you get to hang out with a llama, hug a llama, take a photo with a llama, whatever you want to do with the llama, except for take them out on the trails with you. They don't got that kind of tolerance for humans. But it's pretty unique, just more family oriented. Just enjoy the weekend with your family. On Ultra Sign Up, when you sign up, you'll get a add-on where you can add on for $91 to stay at Earthshine Lodge. And that will entitle you for one night a breakfast, lunch, and dinner from Earthshine Lodge. Now, if you do a 2-night, obviously it's $180. And from there, you're getting a 2-night stay with 6 dinners.
Well, that's pretty good food. I mean,
Yeah.
And I think they have gourmet chefs, so they're kind of ordering the food and they're going to make it on site for you. So it's more of an experience of Earthshine Lodge. And Earthshine Lodge is one of the most beautiful, kind of picturesque looking places ever. I also do a little bit of extras with it. I put cool little llama stickers on your bibs and kind of customize it to something a little bit more cuter, is how I look at it.
That's definitely cool. How did you find this place that has llamas?
Well, I went on a date and I thought that it was a pretty cool place to just hike with a llama. And llamas are really cool. There's a llama that Mark, the llama handler, has named Lightning. He's actually on a cider bottle over there in Pisgah. So he's a famous llama. I enjoy just hanging out with the llamas. They're peaceful. They're really chill, relaxed.
Now, don't they spit a lot?
I've never seen a llama spit before. Not
Okay.
those.
Okay.
Yeah, those llamas actually go to visit children at hospitals.
Oh,
so
wow.
These are trained
Yeah.
llamas.
Tame llama.
some of them are like rescue llamas from like poor handlers and stuff like that. But Earthshine, hands down, is one of the coolest places to go to.
Well, that's really cool. Well, and is that a brand new event? Like this is the first year?
It's the second year coming up.
Year. Okay.
I got to kind of reload a little bit. I want to extend the trail out, and I was out there recently trying to work on a trail route to make it a little bit longer than a mile and a half, because the llamas, they get really annoyed with humans after a while. So I'm trying to extend the time that they're out there.
Mm-hmm.
They're in their feeding salad bar, grass areas, and trying to give runners a little bit more beauty of Pisgah. And the trails I found recently, around every curve, they put a rune stone with like a marking at the bottom of every tree turn. So I'm kind of fascinated by, man, that's going to be really cool. That's another thing to add to the race.
Wow, it's really cool. Yeah, that sounds fun.
My kids would love that.
Yeah, absolutely, they would.
Yeah. Donovan would be, my little boy would probably be like nonstop, like petting and probably trying to jump on it. I mean, climb up his leg. That's how he is.
Yeah. You're welcome to come out. We already got
absolutely.
we already got.
We definitely want to try to get some of the team out there to run some of your events for sure.
Awesome.
But so what do we got next after the Llama Experience Ultra? Okay, and that's the one we were talking about earlier that you personally brought back.
Yep.
And you think this one is your hardest race?
I believe it is the hardest race.
And why would you say it's the hardest?
You're either going up or you're going down. There's not a whole lot of in between. You'll definitely know that you have gotten your butt kicked. There's water crossings.
Michelle?
There is a trail called the Rainbow Trail, which this past year runners thought I was joking. They thought that trail was pretty easy. I was like, guys, you have no idea how hard this thing is about to get. And there's like a mile and a half of just straight up the mountain that you're reaching on Rainbow. And then you're coming down it and you're just dogging down it. So one side you get the calves, the other side you get the quads. So, and then you got fire roads, then you got single track trail, then you got horse divot trail, Like anything you could think of is being thrown at you at that race. And like when it becomes dark, we're so used to ambient light from cities near areas. At Ferguson, North Carolina, there's no ambient light out there. It is pitch black. One of the rules that we have for the race is that, no lie, when it becomes dusk, no matter what distance you're at during the trail race, you're required to have a pacer with you. This past year, somebody reported to me the fall-off points on the ridgeline are just abyss. I'll shine my light down there, and I don't see the end. I would be gone if I slid off that thing. So I was like, you know what? We need a safety protocol there.
Yeah.
And it's such a climber. I mean,
that one's 100 mile, 50 mile, 50K, 25K, and a 10.
Yep. Give you a little taste. The cool thing is that the start finish line, because it's private land, they have their own restaurant there, and they also have beer on tap, food ready to go, some local cook, and there's no place close by to go get food when you're done.
Well, that's kind of cool that it's right there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the whole course is on private land?
Yep, whole course is on private land. You also have a live band at the end, if I get it scheduled correctly. It's a whole experience. And if you get to hang out at one of the, if you rent one of the cabins for the weekend, you'll have a hot tub at your disposal, a really nice cabin space. And it's not like cabins that are like paper thin. They are like high-end cabin rental stuff, like real beautiful things. It is also a full experience race.
Well, we see that Michelle Gray ran it, and she always runs hard stuff, so it makes sense.
Definitely runs hard stuff.
She, God, man, she is so awesome. Michelle, she's running Beast 100K, and she finished the 100-miler a year ago, and she got up to me, and in her beautiful Tennessean accent, she said, "Richard, that was a really hard race." And Rick, he busted his butt on Rock Top. He's been showing pictures of his bruised butt.
Yeah, they're awesome. Her and Rick.
I love those two.
She was the only female finisher of the Cherokee 130K.
The
first year.
I have no doubt.
Yeah. So she's tough. She's just, man, she knows her strengths and she knows how to use them.
She's a good climber, and she knows.
She is. When I thought I had her beat at Llama Crawl too. Like I was ahead of her, and that woman, she passed me. She's like, "Have a good race, Richard," and she just tugging on along, and I'm like, "What am I doing here, really?"
Yeah, man. She starts off with her pace, and she keeps that pace the whole time. She's awesome.
Yeah, and laughing and loving.
Oh, yeah.
The whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what do we have next now? Let's see.
Oh, boy. Now you're going to make me have to look at it because that's way in the background.
We've not talked about The Last Wolf.
Well, I moved The Last Wolf to October. Do you want to talk about the next one?
Yeah, let's the next one.
Wicked Route 50K, which is a 10 by 5K. Every hour on the hour doing a 5K. Just mountain bike trail and a lot of twists and turns and a lot of routes on the trail. So appropriately named. Also my oldest race.
That is your oldest race.
Then there's the Black Copperhead Sting.
That's a cool name. What is this one about?
Well, it's still a basic race. Nothing particularly crazy. But last year, I don't, once I set the course, I don't move the course for whatever reason, because you guys know that if you change the course, runners get crazy and they get mad. Well, during last year, it was in September, and I didn't know in the area that was Copperhead mating season. And there was like 5 or 6 Copperheads on the trail. And when we were marking the trail, there was a hornet's nest buried in the ground around a switchback on one of the trails. And on the thread trail, that's where all the copperheads were sunbathing and just chilling. And we had a dude named Mike pushing with his trekking pole the copperheads off the trail. It kind of, if you ever get to see the shirt, you'll understand why the shirt says Mike saving lives. But it was a joke because
that's awesome.
There was also like hornets on the trail, and I didn't realize it was during a turn when I marked the trail. And runners were getting stung by hornets, so I went up there to move the trail so that I was actually saving lives without an EpiPen and stuff. And I got stung like 4 times in 1 minute. And in the time of me moving the trail, a girl that got stung on her butt had to show me the bee sting on her butt. And I didn't know what I was looking at, and I didn't understand why she was showing me this bee sting. And I got the trail moved, and I run off the trail, and I have a photographer named Ruben, and he's my normal photographer. I'm like wild-eyed, and I'm running back to the start-finish line because I don't usually move from the start-finish line because I like to watch people finish because I like to watch the stories. And that's why the sting part comes into this name of Black Copperhead Sting. So this past year, we moved the race to August, missing Copperhead mating season, and nobody got stung. And I rerouted the trail to make it a little bit easier and a little bit faster. It's definitely your basic kind of race, but I like it. It's the only ultra race in Belmont. And Belmont's like a suburb of Charlotte. And it has like really good food. So it's a really cool place to eat and do a race at.
Now, how big is the loop?
It is a 5K loop. It works mainly on the Thread Trail, the Canopy Trail, and the Eagle Trail. And this is all city park trails. So it's a little bit smaller. But this past year, because we moved it to August and not a lot of racing is going on, we had like almost capacity for how big the trail is and what we could fit into the space.
That's good. Yeah. I love it. And I love the name. That's very unique. And the name now makes sense. So totally get it.
It's always a story.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the stories. Then after that is The Last Wolf. It's kind of the race that kind of sets you up to get ready to run Beast because it's on the second mile of the Beast course, but it's a backyard ultra. It's unique to the point where we're doing a out and back every 40 minutes on every 40 minutes now. But what's unique about it is that what we're doing this coming October is that we're going to give you 5 minutes for every time you complete the loop, all the way up to 60 minutes. When you get to 60 minutes, we drop you back down to the 40-minute time frame to see if you can hold on to going fast again after, getting your legs used to the same pace. The out and back has 700 feet of gain per loop. So it is on the side of a mountain. It's not your typical last man standing where it's kind of flattish, but it definitely mixes us up and definitely makes you tap certain resources differently.
So you just keep resetting every time, like 45, 50, 55, 60, 45, or 40, 45, all the way back up. Okay. Yeah, I can see how that would eventually get you.
Nobody,
That'd be hard.
When we've done it before, we were doing every hour on the hour, and then after 24 hours, which nobody made it the full 24 hours, we would start taking away 2 minutes. But we figured out that we had some really good elite runners come out to kind of do that race. Like this past year, there's this I call him backyard ultra guru, Caleb Beatty. He's won quite a few last man standings. he was strong throughout the entire route. Same thing with Andrew Barrett, who was a really good runner. He's on like Michelle Gray level type of runner, and just really strong athletes. And they both kind of stopped this past year because they've both failed at beast multiple times, so they kind of want to finish the 100-miler now. Uh, Andrew, or he likes to be called Andy, he's finished like Western States. He's been to the top of Everest. He's done like these really great things. Beast is kind of kicking him in the side, like, why can't I finish something like that? I've done this other cool stuff. So yeah, that's my rotation. And then I have
and
one.
You still have one more race.
Yeah, I have one race that is not active right now that I will bring back. It's called Cold Rock. It's over at Chimney Rock State Park, and Chimney Rock was decimated by Helene, and they are still rebuilding over there. Once that gets built and I get accepted permitting over there, I'm not feeling like it's going to come back till 2027. That race has 5,000 stairs for the entire 50K, and it goes straight up Chimney Rock all the way to the back of the top of the waterfall and come all the way back down. And you can't use trekking poles. We take that out.
Man.
Yeah.
How many steps did you say?
5,000 for the entire 50K. We counted them. It's like 1,100 every time you go out and back. And it's like a 7-mile out and back.
So you think that race will be back in 2026?
I really hope so. I would like to take some of the race entries and actually donate it to Lake Lure. And I made really good friends with a gentleman over there that is really trying to get tourism back over into Chimney Rock. It's just, as far as trail running, they're not quite ready to do full trail running yet. I was on some of the trails with some rock slides. It looks a little scary. I do have a level of what I feel is dangerous and what is comfortable trail running, even though I have hard races. I feel like I know the line.
Yeah.
So, and right now it's not too safe.
Yeah.
It looks like, just looking at these photos that we're looking through as we're talking about these, it looks like these races have very scenic views. When you're over like some rocks and you're looking out, you can see the mountains in the backdrop. Is that something that you try to implement, or is it just how the course runs?
So it's kind of like a mantra for life, and it's something I look for. I believe that when it comes to when you live day to day, you want to know where you start from and where you're going. And those scenic overviews, I'm showing you where I'm taking you and where you've come from. So psychologically, it just, if you really think about it, it's like just an arc of life. Like even during the beast race, when you're going down Rock Top, there's a section of trail where you can see the pinnacle overlook of the mountain where you're going. So I like that concept because I had to live by that and understand that life is beginning here and it ends here. And life is like a race. It is a start and a finish line, not to sound very cliched, but the chapters matter of what you do in between.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I want to go to North Carolina and run some races.
Yeah. And do we have any other races?
I got a couple things I've been thinking about and working on. Do you guys know where Girton, North Carolina is?
Girton, nope. If it's
I
not
do.
over at Robbinsville, right across the mountain, I don't know where nothing's at.
It's about 30 minutes outside of Asheville, right between there and Chimney Rock. Girton is like, in 2 minutes you'll drive through it. But there's this Strawberry Gap Trail that leads to Bear Wallow Mountain that I've developed a 13-mile loop around this forestry area that looks really cool. And you get to run past cows at Barrow Wallow and stuff like that. It's something I've been kind of thinking about and what I kind of want to share with people. So, and nothing crazy as far as brand new, develop crazy idea race, just something basic. I mean, it's great to be creative, but sometimes I like to just make a race that doesn't have a lot of tricks.
Yeah. No, that's it's fun to have a whole different assortment, and you definitely do.
Yeah.
Yep. I definitely have set out on the mission this coming year as a goal to get back to my running, and I'm planning on doing 12 ultras in 12 months and trying to select. I call it the 12. So
I love it. The Dirty Dozen.
The Dirty Dozen. I don't know if I want to call it that. Maybe, but yeah. I mean,
so with that being said, do you have have you got it planned out already, or do you just got like a few that you've picked out so far?
Well, right now, in January, I plan on running the Great Scorpion 50K in Mississippi. It finishes off all my Southeast ultra races. It's the only one I haven't run in the state of, and I have registered for this race 5 times, and I have not shown up 5 times. So it's going to be the most expensive race medal I've ever gotten when I finish. Then in February, I'm planning on signing up for Whispering Pines 12-hour, which is down in Florida, in Everness, in the Panhandle. March gets a little bit thicker because just about every weekend I'm going to be at a race or running a race. I kind of want to do the Croft race for the new race director that's there, but I'm going to be pacing somebody for one of my pack for a black beard 100 mile. So I'm going to be pacing her. And then April, I haven't seen anything yet, but May looks like that's when I'm going to get to start doing a lot of my running. And I run better in the summer than I do in the winter.
Don't we all do that? Yeah.
But everything, I'm pretty much figuring that by the 13th race, right after I get past the 12, I really have my eye on like Pine to Palm. I'm a fanboy to Hal Kerner. I don't know why. He's just such a cool dude.
Well, I think this was the last year of that race.
Yeah, unfortunately. I thought he just gave it to somebody. But
did he?
Yeah.
Well, that would maybe he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just would like to run that race, but I also want to do Angel's Crest in October of next year. So hopefully it doesn't fall on the same day as the Last Wolf. Because Angel's Crest, I like that bridge and the waterfall and ultra sign up. That's pretty cool. That makes me want to sign up for that race. It might last for 5 seconds, but it's great. But yeah, I want to start knocking out a little bit of the Northeast after I get done with Mississippi. There's 2 different goals I'm kind of looking at in the future.
Sweet. Love it. It sounds like you're getting back to what you enjoy doing too.
Yeah,
race directing's fun, but you can't lose yourself race directing.
Yeah.
So,
well, just a lot slower than I used to be.
It just means you get to enjoy it longer.
Yeah.
The views a little longer.
No, I usually what I'll do during an ultra race, they might look like, fast-ish mid-pack times, but I like to stop and walk and then take pictures. And I'll take pictures of like leaves and grass and lay in the grass. Like I'm like a freaking hippie out like on these ultra races where I'm just like, oh, whatever. I'm good. If I DNF, it's not the first time.
Yeah.
Your first DNF, you get upset. After that, it's kind of like, okay, I need to fix it.
Yeah,
they all make me upset, but the first one hurt the most, I think.
All my DNFs. All my DNFs. Actually, I was either injured or something crazy happened during the race. So.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I got some stories. I'm sure you do too, but
What?
it's why we do it. You know, like you're out there for a reason, trying to find something that will make it hard. So when you do find something hard, you can't be upset about that.
No, that's why we do these things. Yeah.
I mean, I like to find the hard stuff. I still remember a lot of them. Like my favorite race is Badlands up in North Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
That was the coolest freaking race, and I was leading that race for at least half the race, and then I stopped because I was enjoying none of it, and ended up being last place.
Oh.
Because there was no bonk. I just wanted to enjoy looking at all the cool stuff that I don't get to see on the East Coast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all do it for different reasons. So, you know, that's the thing. And your whys can change often.
But I'm definitely not in it to win. I only have 2 trophies on Ultra Sign Up.
Hey, that's fine. It's not about the trophies.
2 trophies at 112 races that you finished.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the trophies.
Well, that's
on Ultra Sign Up, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't know what else is somewhere else.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Because Foothills 50K, a bunch of others aren't on Ultra Sign Up.
Yeah, you know, it's hard sometimes to know everything people run on Run Sign Up, and now a lot of races host their own. So, you know, sometimes it's hard. Now, I do know some race directors that will still load the results on Ultra Sign Up, which I think is great.
I was just talking to somebody about that like 2 weeks ago, how they used to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they stopped. And I'm like, why don't you just put them on here? Because, you know, you can't click on one or nothing anyway. Like, they're just there. And they're like, well, yeah, we could do that. But we took all our stuff off there and just used Run Sign Up. I'm like, just put your ultra distances on here. Or, you know, the trail race, just put them on here so we can see them.
You know, Athlinks used to do that. And then they stopped.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I mean, you know, it's only a matter of time before somebody decides to start competing with Ultra Sign Up and just load the results 100% on like a different site.
Yeah, I mean, Ultra Running Magazine, they have done a good job of consolidating all the data, because I guess they're scraping it from Ultra Sign Up now, but they're linked directly to Run Sign Up, so they have everything now, which is kind of cool. The one thing I have noticed is that they obviously must be scraping the data for Ultra Sign Up, because if anybody makes a change, it doesn't change on Ultra Running. So I've seen where a few results got loaded incorrectly, and they pulled the data, and the results are still that way.
Yay, Aeromafa!
Yeah. So it's interesting, but you know, it's kind of cool to have one location. So
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Rich.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we'll switch over to questions here in just a minute, but I wanted to ask you the question that we ask everybody on this podcast, and that's, why do you continue to run? Why do you continue to put yourself through this and do the hard things? You know, it sounds like you're really wanting to get back into the roots of running and running one ultra every month, but why continue to push yourself and do that?
I think it's because, you know, you feel like you're born to be here for some purpose, and I feel like that's what I'm meant to do, is help people with their victories and their stories, and just kind of give a little piece of myself as much as I can to those people. For me, as far as me, I don't know. I like the adventures and the stories. A long time ago, Solomon Running TV was available on YouTube, and I always watch those stories, and I'm always like interested in hearing about their stories. And I feel like when I have a kid and he or she is old enough to understand what I did, and that I'm not a rich dude, but I have all these cool stories that they can listen to and they can brag to their friends about, and the fact that I'm crazy, they'll kind of follow in the same steps. And hopefully maybe I'll have a built empire for them to take over. So
I love it. I mean, I'll one of the things me and Matt, the reason we started this podcast is to help, to help share people's stories. Everybody has their own journey, and it's inspiring to listen to everybody, and hopefully, that inspires someone else new to start running. And learning everybody's whys is always really fun, because most people's whys are not the same. And what we've even realized is you can have the person on the podcast 2 times in the next 2 years, and their whys will be different, because life changes, and so do their whys and what they're doing. And that's just, you never, ever know what somebody is going through, and when you're standing there at that start line, you're their getaway, you're their escape, you're their adventure, and you can put it to, you say it however you want, but you're the one thing that they're looking forward to doing. And, that's what's really cool, is you're giving them an opportunity to do something that they never thought in a million years they would get the opportunity to do, and to push themselves. And, you've seen it. You're a race director. People that have never ran an ultra in their life, and they show up and run a 50K, and they can't believe it. They never thought they would do it. And that stuff is why we do what we do. It's to give people that opportunity to be the best version of themselves, and to leave all the other crap behind for that weekend, and to have an opportunity. And it's just so cool to see that, and to see other race directors that are trying to do the same thing, and to promote that. And it's why we're here, and it's why we do what we do, and it's obviously why you do what you do. And we just appreciate you for being on here and talking about it.
Really appreciate being here. And this is actually my longest podcast to date, guys. Yep. Yeah. You guys pull more out of me than what most people do. So
well, we're getting ready to pull a little bit more out of you, because Matt's getting ready to ask you the listener questions now.
We got like 4 or 5 questions.
Oh, thank God. At least it's not 10.
No. See, like, this is what we like to do, introduce people to you.
Do I get to know these identities of these people?
We don't disclose that.
Oh.
Unless they specifically put it.
Yeah, sometimes I'll actually, like, let him know, or tell him I said, or they'll do that. But some of it's just like people that we know. They just want to know different, things about you. The first one is, what is your favorite trail that you run on daily?
Daily.
Daily, weekly,
It's going to have to be at Crowder's Mountain on the Ridgeline Trail. It's kind of a go-to for me. Yeah. That's Beast of the East. It's the back end.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. It's very special to you.
Mm-hmm.
I know, it's like the four frenzy race that we put on. I run over there at least 3 times a week. I mean, I just love it over there.
Yeah. I can't frequent too much from June to now, because I don't get great training time in, because people are training for the race. So I sacrifice that a little bit.
Yeah. What is one trail that you wish everyone could see and run on in North Carolina?
Snook's Nose.
Snook's Nose. And where is that located?
It's in Pisgah. It's still in development from Helene, but it's off the Hellbender course and the Heartbreaker course. Snook's Nose is, you want to talk to somebody, that's where you talk to somebody at.
I love it.
Well, see, Pisgah doesn't seem like it's too far from us.
Pisgah's beautiful.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that a section of the Cherokee, how it's on the North Carolina and Tennessee line, It goes right with it. It's right there with it.
Yeah.
From Unicoi Gap up to Tate Gap. Pretty sure.
If I lived closer to Tennessee / North Carolina line over there, I would be visiting Roan Mountain pretty regularly.
My fiance loves that area.
All right. Well, I think we kind of talked about this a while ago, but do you have any new events planned for the upcoming future?
There is always more plans. I can always concoct something new. I do have a new race dedicated to my dad in January. I don't tend to race direct after December, but I got a race dedicated to my dad in January. It's at the same trails as Wicked Route. It's going to be a pretty simple race, but it's going to be a launching pad for a much bigger race. I'm going to move to the mountains, and I'm going to rename it the Legacy to have spirit with my dad and kind of build into something kind of big. I don't know how big it's going to be, but it's definitely something for the future.
That's
Nice.
cool.
That's good.
That's really cool.
Yeah. All right. My last question is, what has been your biggest passion project to date? It could either be your running or a race or anything.
The biggest passion project. Well, there's two. The newest, biggest passion project is that I got a new dog. He's a Kalahua Border Collie mix, and he's been raised around aid stations and racing since he's been a puppy. He was at Leatherwood. He's extremely smart, but he's more of a emotional support animal to help runners calm down during races. And he's extremely smart. I'm surprised he's quiet this long, to be honest. He's really cool. His name's Leo. He's a leopard dog, and if you know about Louisiana, it's the Louisiana state dog to what a Kalahua is. And when you look at him, you're like, I don't recognize that. My other passion project that has always been there has been Roaring Gap / Stone Mountain Massacre. That one I'm so passionate about, and I so badly wanted it to work. But if something doesn't work after 5 years, I usually have to dump that race. But I just really believe in that race. And with my full heart, like, if I could run any of my races, that is the race I would run. Even the freaking 30-mile loop for Stone Mountain Massacre, I would do that. In fact, if I could find another RD to RD the race for that day, I would do it. But
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been putting that race on?
Almost like 6 years now. So, and it usually gets about 70 runners, but it's not growing anymore. And Hanging Rock and Pilot Mountain's not too far away, but like, I don't know, Roaring Gap just, if you watch the video off of the registration page, it is just beautiful.
It looks beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, within the first mile, you have the first summit, and then it just keeps going from there on top of Stone Mountain. And then when you get off Stone Mountain, you're on like the Wolf Gap Trail. You look over and you're like, man, I ran across that damn mountain thing. And then you go into the village, and you get to go into this Hutcherson Homestead Village, and it's like all history where other people have stepped before you.
Yep.
But that's my only other passion project.
Well, hopefully it starts to take off some. I mean, it's obviously a race near and dear to your heart. So hopefully, and it's a cool race. It sounds like. I mean, it's very unique. So hopefully, more people hear this and spread the word. And
yeah. Well,
turnout.
I even worked on the email you get back when you sign up for the race. You get a letter of condolences and pretty much talk about the fact that I'll be playing a character when I do the emails and everything else. I won't be like this person. I'll be like, you're going to die here, and good luck. And kind of make it grim. Like I've redone the description for Stone Mountain Massacre to make it sound really cool.
Oh, I was reading it. Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah,
it's good.
So,
No, I mean all these photos. I mean it looks beautiful. That's the kind of stuff that I look for when I go run. Like that's what I want to see. So.
I am such a big person about what I get to see versus what I get to earn. Like even behind me, there's not a whole lot of medals hanging out or anything like that. They're all in Hoka shoe boxes.
Love it. Well, Richard, man, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast with us and to share not only your RD story and journey, but your start in running and your passion and how you got to where you're at today. So we just truly, want to spread the word about the other race directors in these areas that are so good and are putting on unique events. So you're definitely one of those. We appreciate you so much and continue to do what you do. And we'll see if we can't get the team out there to support you some too with East Coast Adventures. So we would like to give you some love. And, we've been looking at a couple of your races for a while. We just, the schedule hadn't worked out yet, but you'll see us probably in 2026.
Definitely.
Ooh, fun. Well, Beast will definitely be open by like January 1st.
I love it.
Ooh,
I love it.
Yeah.
That one's on my list.
Yeah.
Awesome. Man, thank you so much. So honestly, it's been fun to catch up, and we wish you the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. I can't wait to see you guys soon.
Absolutely. Richard, man, take care. Thank you.
See you guys.